Coaches coaching. My favorite part of the week. We're here, and we've got the one and only Spencer Howlett in the house, representing from Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita, Kansas.
You know, out in the trenches. Today, guys, we are actually. I'm gonna mute everybody real quick. I think there's a few people that are not muted. I'm gonna unmute you, Spencer. Okay, so guys, today we are talking rotary stability. Okay, I'm gonna share this quick little thing here. Give me 2 seconds. And you should be seeing it by now, right? No? Maybe
Nope.
not? Nope. Sorry. Trying to get this up. Where do we go here, guys? There we go. All right, so rotary stability. So looking at the FMS, you've got active straight leg raise, shoulder mobility. Okay, that's on your mobility stuff. And then you've got motor control, rotary stability, and trunk stability. Okay, so with rotary stability, what we're looking at, I guess we can go through the test first. Does that sound good, Spencer?
Yeah, we can do that.
So why don't you go ahead and demo the test? I'm going to spotlight your video. And then why don't you demo the test and you and I can kind of talk through it, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So first thing on the test is I'm going to come down on this board. So I want to think digging the toes in. So I've got dorsiflexion in my ankles, shoulders and wrists are lined up, hip and knee lined up. And I want contact on all three of these points onto the board. So now to get a 3, so 3 meaning I've got good rotary stability, everything like that, I need to go straight out with my left arm and my left leg at the same time. I don't think I can do this, but I'm going to try for you guys because it's very hard. So you want to think, keeping that contact in, coming out, bringing it back in. So that one qualifies as a 3 because I have to lean over to my right side to perform that. So I need to be able to stay perfectly over with both arm, with that arm and that leg going out. So if I can't do it,
so real quick, so we're on the same page. So he has to be able to extend the arm and the leg on the same side, okay, and then touch it, and then extend it again. That's the test, right? So
and
go ahead, keep going.
You have to own the movement too. So I can't do something simple like, oh, I did it. Look at me, I got a 3. I've got to own this movement nice and slow and back down. So the next one, if someone can't do this, and most clients won't be able to, is we're going to switch it to a 2. So now I'm going to go opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping that back straight, coming out, and then I need to meet that elbow and knee in the center of that board. So again, owning this movement. And then if someone can't do that, so if I, go ahead, RJ.
No, go ahead.
So then if I can't perform that, if I come here, I fall, that's going to let me know there are 1.
Yeah. So the test is fairly simple, guys. The first part of the test, in order to get a 3, you have to be able to do both the same side. Okay. If you're not able to do it, then you do opposite sides. So right hand, right, left. And if you're not able to do that, then you score 1. Okay. So from there, Spencer, why are we testing rotary stability? What's the point of it?
So what the test is I'm trying to put energy through my upper and lower body at the same time and hold my trunk stable. To keep it as simple as possible, that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm seeing, can this client move out and keep their trunk stable? No turning. I'm also looking, are they going into back extension, anything like that? And so to kind of transfer that into, let's say we have an athlete client, anything like that. So track is a good example, is they need to have good transfer from their lower body to their upper body through their trunk. So if I don't have good core stability, trunk stability, any of that, and I go to sprint and I'm transferring all that energy from my lower body up into my upper body, but I can't hold myself stable, I'm not going to be able to run very well.
Yeah, no, exactly. So basically, simply put, guys, we're testing to see, can you move your limbs without moving your core while keeping your core stable?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Can you do that? Okay. So now that we've established the test, we've gone through 1, 2, 3, scored them, we're able to do that even with other movements. Now, what are some different things that we're using to correct it, fix it? All that.
So one thing too, before we jump to that part, is we also, on all the FMS tests, we test for pain. So after we do all 3, let's say there are 1, but we also want to see, is there any pain, anything that we need to know about? So for rotary stability, the pain test is just coming down. So I want to think I'm sitting back on the heels, letting my arms go forward, my chest goes down to my knee, and just really trying to reach. And then you just ask that client.
What happened to your camera?
Oh my gosh.
Your camera went out. That's okay.
Am I alive?
There we go. Yep,
okay,
you're live. There we go.
What did you miss?
Go ahead. As soon as you got back onto your heels, we missed you.
Okay.
But go.
So onto the heels, I'm reaching the hands forward. I'm letting that chest come down to the knee. And then plain and simple, just ask your client, do you feel pain? If they feel pain, we refer out. We send them to a professional to have them diagnose what's going on.
Okay, perfect. No, and that's a good point. I forgot the clearing test on that. So you want to make sure you're, if you are testing them on the FMS, that you're doing that clearing test as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now that we've gone through that, we've tested them, all that good stuff. Now, what are some different correctives and different things that we're working on in this?
So something I like to do is I look at it and say, after they've scored, everything like that, if somebody gets a 1 on this, I want to see, okay, was this like a mobility issue? Was it stability issue? So kind of how I figure out on that one, if it is I just take the stability out of it and just have them plain and simple, lay on their back, coming in. Can they move? Can they flex? Can they perform that movement without any stability? If they can do that really well, I know it's not a mobility problem, but I can also use this as a corrective as well. Teaching them, getting their core braced, opposite arm, opposite leg. You can go straight and have them start building that strength there.
So perfect. So just to recap what he's saying real fast is it a mobility issue or a stability issue? Right? When you look at the test, right, and you're moving the limbs, okay, and what he's basically doing is now when he puts them on his back, now the stability part of it is taken out of it, right? So now you're seeing, can they actually just move their arm and can they move their leg? That's it. That's all we're looking at, essentially, right, Spence? So
yes.
So I want to make sure that you're understanding what he's doing and why he's doing it, right? So he's going to flip them onto their back and do the same exact movement so that we're taking the stability part out of it, right? So now we're just seeing, can they even just move their arms and legs just on their own?
And to kind of like progress this, like how I do it with my clients with our programming, if you look at, the test for 2, this is really similar to what we do with our clients, bird dogs, bear crawls, anything like that. So if I have someone get a 1, I always start them. I'm just going to start them here. They've got to prove to me they can do this. Then I can move it up to here. So now I can start working more at that core. I can move it to just a hold. I'm going to move up a little bit. So just hold in this position. Then we can start producing movement into it to our bear crawls. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I was responding to you. Yes, yes.
And so That's kind of what I like to do with my clients, is make them prove to me they can perform each movement instead of just jumping into one thing. Is let's see really where they're at and start from the bottom and build them up.
Okay, guys. So so going to where he's at. So this is Stability WOD, Rotary Stability. Did you go to the Stability WOD over the weekend?
No, I had to catch my plane on Sunday.
That's okay. Okay, so Rotary Stability. So you can see here, we started with dead bugs. Okay, we can talk quadruped, but he talked about bird dogs, bear crawls, right? We'll start standing cross crawls and skip drills. But let's show. So I just want to make sure we're following in line on this. So let's show quadruped hip extension on elbows with single leg hip lift.
Quadruped hip extension?
Yep.
Do we want to use like a pad?
If you got one, great. If not, no big deal.
I don't necessarily have a pad, but I got a PVC board.
Perfect. That'll work.
So essentially what we want to think is, and you want to go down to the elbows?
Either elbows or hands. So you can go, so guys on this, you can go on the hands or on the elbows, either way.
So what I want to do from here is coming up. So I'm going to lift that knee up and I'm just coming back. And on this, I'm not trying to kick up as high as I can. I'm just coming to neutral, trying to get my glutes to activate, staying at a back extension.
So that's one thing, guys, you're looking at him, you know, you want to pay attention. So keep going, Spencer.
Yeah.
You want to pay attention to his hips. Where are his hips at, right? As soon as it starts to get into back extension, then he's gone too far. That's typically what most clients will do, is they'll get to the point where they're going too high up, and then they start to get into back extension. Exactly. Right. But you can see he's keeping a neutral spine. He's keeping those hips locked in, right? And he's breathing through it. Another big one, right? But he's getting that hip extension.
And right? I'm working
the
with
front limb out of it.
And I'm working with where I'm at. So for me, is one of the issues like I'm trying to fix myself is I found that I go into back extension fairly easily. So when I squat, deadlift, any of that stuff, my pelvis likes to shift forward. And so when I do this stuff, I've got to work with where I'm at. Some people can get up to here and they can keep that spine pretty neutral. I start to go into extension, so I've got to keep it just a little bit lower. And I'm working with the way my body moves.
Exactly. And one thing I want to point out, guys, you know, on this, going back to the stability WOD. So if you look at, you know, this rotary stability here, you know, if you're looking at this, you know, one thing to notice is, you know, once again, it progresses, right? Easiest to hardest. Dead bugs, you got no stabilization needed, right? They're lying on their back. Quadruped hip extension, there's no arm involved. It's only the hip. It's only the knee, right? Bird dog, now you're getting both arm and leg involved, right? And bear crawl, now we're starting to move. Okay, so we talked about bird dog. Let's talk bear crawl for a second.
Okay.
And then going into standing cross crawl.
Okay. Perfect. So bear crawl, what we're looking for with the client is getting into that same position as quadruped hip extension, bird dog, any of that coming through. So we want to lift the knees just a little bit, keeping that back neutral, and then just creating movement. So I want to go opposite arm, opposite leg, nice small steps. And so what we want to look for with like our clients, stuff like that, is where are their hips at. So a lot of people, I'll go forward so you can see a little bit better. Actually, I'm going to go this way, not to be inappropriate, but come in here and you'll see.
You got to give the people what they want.
I know. You guys are welcome.
There you go.
You see a lot of this. So they're not controlling their hips. They're letting their hips go wherever. So we need to work on keeping that stomach brace, keeping everything stable and aligned. And then
so one thing also, on that, guys, one simple, real quick before you get into whatever you're getting into, Spence. One thing, guys, is if they're struggling with it, they're really struggling with it, just have them go on all fours, on their knees as well. So now they've got 6 points of contact: foot, knees, hands, right? We're doing just as Spencer's doing right now, walking on the hands and knees.
And then you also want to make sure they're going slow. I have a lot of clients. I've seen a lot of trainers with their clients, and clients like to race. This isn't a workout that it's about speed. It's about just slow, controlled movement the entire time. So this is going to be better than just trying to race it.
Exactly. So, bear crawls. So you're moving opposite hand, opposite foot, and we've got a bunch of different ways, right? Forward, backwards, lateral. But like he's saying, the main thing we're looking at is the hip movement, keeping it stable, all that good stuff. And by the way, if you guys have questions as we go, please ask. Okay, so then the last part of this stability WOD is standing cross crawl and skip drills.
Okay, for whatever reason I'm having a brain fart, I cannot remember what a standing cross crawl is.
Standing cross crawl, you're standing, it's from original strength. Opposite hand, opposite foot. You're here.
So just here?
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just want to make sure. So.
Yep.
And then do you want to do like movement with it?
So you can do the same thing, guys, where you're moving with it, a little bit more dynamic, but you're in that standing position. And then obviously just skips, right? Going that opposite hand, opposite foot, and able to perform just your regular skips or marches would be the same thing as well. Right. Once again, can I move my limbs while keeping my trunk stable? Right. Starting with our lowest progressions and working our way up.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else, Spence, on rotary stability?
I'm trying to think. We've covered a lot of it. And it's just the same thing. Like if you're interns that have been watching this for the past few weeks, is everything in the stability WOD is you're starting in a stable position to a dynamic position where we're actually moving into it. And so for the interns, I'm just going to give a little quote because I know RJ loves quotes too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to make sure I word it right. It doesn't matter how much you know. It matters how much you apply. And it doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to butcher this, so just one sec.
You're good. So while he's doing that, guys, I've got this rotary stability up. You can take a look at it again one more time. So once again, he's going through, easiest to hardest, right? Dead bugs, quadruped hip extension, bird dog, bear crawl, standing cross crawl, right? You're taking things out, stabilization, mobility, right? Taking limbs out, adding limbs in, right? Making it more dynamic, going onto your feet, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, like you said, starting with the least, making it, the easiest, and then working our way up from there. Did you get what you needed, Spence?
I got what I needed. So knowing is not enough. We must do. Willing is not enough. We must apply. So that's from Bruce Lee. So this is something big for interns is as you watch all these videos, you work with your head trainers, all the stuff they're teaching you, it's not going to matter if you're not applying it into your own daily thing. So all this stuff we go over with the stability WOD, I would suggest to you guys to apply it yourself. See where you're at on it. Can you perform all these movements? If you can't, that's something you need to look into for yourself because you're going to have to show your clients these movements. Any of the programming stuff like that, start doing it. Become experts at it. Become professionals at it, and you'll become a much better trainer.
I agree. To piggyback on what Spence is saying, big thing, guys, is just like you said, apply it. Make sure you're using it. You noticed, I don't know if you picked up on when Spencer was talking, he was talking about how he had issues in certain areas. I don't know if you noticed that. Right? He's like, hey, this is a problem that I've got that I'm currently working on, right? That shows you that he's currently working on it and he's doing it himself and he's applying it, right? So just like he said, it's great that you're here watching the video, but make sure watching this, but make sure you're applying what you're learning. Okay.
And ask a lot of questions.
Exactly. That's exactly right. All right. I believe this was episode number 25. I believe Spencer Hallett, Rotary Stability. Thank you very much, Spencer. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Of course.
For interns, let's, what should we do? Sneaky Bear. Text the word Sneaky Bear to your head trainer for credit on this morning's meeting. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day.